Face front, true believers. This is Modular Media's No Prize podcast where we talk Marvel movies, comics, merchandise, and more. I'm your host, Chris, a Boingo writer Gaston, and with me, as always, in the bullpen.
Representing the distinguished competition while having a bit of a messy background. I just went on a trip. It's in a state of flux. We're going to work on it. It'll be better in like a week and a half. Just bear with me. I'm the vacuuminator. Let's talk about stuff. Move on from this.
You shouldn't have brought it up in the first place.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to get comments.
Like we get comments.
Occasionally we do. And it's been more frequent this year, I've noticed.
This 1 month of a year. Month and a half.
Month and a half. We're picking up the slack. It's gonna happen. You gotta believe.
Do you believe in magic?
Sometimes.
In a young girl's heart.
Yes.
Alright, cool. Yeah. We're getting close to the end of one show. We're continuing having another show in the background. Nothing super... Actually, no, there's some semi-super huge.
It's been a pretty monumental news week, actually, comparatively speaking.
It's not a monumental news week for Marvel.
We got 2 trailers today, buddy.
2 trailers? That's a trailer. Nothing like earth-shattering. It's just more information.
Fair enough. But
it's not like they said, oh, by the way, here's the casting for the Fantastic Four.
True. But, like, we're also living in the day and age where every time a trailer for a Marvel movie drops, the internet loses its shit for a day. Or at least Twitter does.
Yeah. Though for one of the trailers, it's just minor information, just new shots. The other one is gonna be a weird one. Well, we'll get to that.
There's things and stuff. Stuff and things.
But in the meantime, we got a fucking podcast we do, don't we?
Yeah.
So, episode 7 of Peacemaker.
I think this is probably the weakest one yet. It has some really strong scenes, but overall, I wasn't as into it this week as I have been.
It's logical when you think of it as, like, they were trying to wrap up the B plot line, which was Peacemaker's character arc in relation to his father.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, they have been so 100% totally separate entities for the entirety of this thing. It wouldn't... Functionally, I can imagine it not working if they just went like, oh yeah, no, the Dragon Boy is fucking working with the butterflies, you know, the racist...
Well, like I predicted, a butterfly takes over him.
Yeah. It's just they haven't interacted.
Uh-huh. It would be completely random. It would be the butterflies subserviating his plot if my prediction were to happen.
Yeah. And in this way, his plot gets a resolution wholly on its own. Like, you could see if this was a 6-episode series, they could do one or the other. And it'd be a perfectly satisfactory season. But they wanted to do both, and they had the time to do it, so they did both.
Yeah. Though, I gotta say, the resolution they went with, well, it does make sense, and it is satisfying. I was a little upset at the fact that, like, oh, we're not gonna see this character again.
Yeah, but, like... Here's the thing. The universe is gonna get rebooted in, what, a year?
Yeah.
See, that's the problem with DC. You set a precedent of reboots.
It's true. But, like, given how successful this show is, I wonder if they might not just let it exist in a bubble if it gets a season 2.
Maybe. It might. But, basically the plot of the episode can be summed up as everything's falling apart. Peacemaker, Vigilante, and Economo go like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go just fucking kill the cow. Let's just do it. Fuck plans, fuck anything. Just kill it.
And before the other 3 can react to that at all, they're dealing with their own shit, and then the butterflies show up to kill them.
And they do kill one of them. They kill Myrn.
Mm-hmm. It's actually a really well-handled scene, I thought. Like, probably, and this is speaking as a Tokusatsu fan where I've seen things like this before, probably the most effective death with a CGI character I've ever seen.
I think it helps that like they tried to make the butterflies a little cute.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you see them injured, it is affecting. But also, it's that whole scene was cool because they killed Mern, and then Butterfly came out, and they were like,
Mm-hmm.
"You motherfucker! Fuck you! We didn't
Well,
even
no,
know you were doing that."
the one Goth who probably isn't even called Goth, but I'm not
Queen.
gonna. I'm yeah, the Queen Butterfly. She was upset, but then she goes and kills Mern, and the other one that's taken over Sophie's partner is like, "You fucking murdered him! What the hell?" Like showing the butterflies have no regard for human life, but they're not emotionless beings. They do care about their own species' lives, or at least some of them do.
Here's the thing: I don't think they don't care about humanity. It's more of like humanity is ants. In the same way of like you can see a group of ants and go like, "Oh, look at them! They're working. They're doing their thing." Yeah. But
Hmm.
you'll still step on them in a second. Like you don't care.
That's fair. Yeah, I can see that perspective.
Because like in the last episode when the queen was just trying to gather everything up and get ready for the hostile takeover, she looked at the partner and went like, "Oh, she cared about you. I'm sorry. Look, have a nice rest of the day. You'll be fine. Don't worry."
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. There was that moment. Um, and then like we finally get the moment where somebody finds out that Adebayo's mom is Amanda Waller, and it has just about the effect on the characters I thought it would.
I mean, yeah, it's like, "Oh my god, you're Amanda Waller's kid. You got to be just as fucked up as she is." No, she's fucked me over too. Which is
Hmm. Which they don't make it explicit, but again, I'm like 95% sure the whole reason she lost her job, her shelter lost funding, is because her mom pulled some government strings.
that would be interesting. And that does seem like an Amanda Waller move.
Mhm. Um, but no, that was interesting. I also really dug the the kind of like how everyone is like trying to be supportive of Peacemaker, but because of the weird situation they're all in, it's like, well, for Vigilante, first and foremost, it doesn't entirely compute. And Economos is just like, I don't know how to handle this.
Cuz like if you really go into the autistic reading of Vigilante, it's just a different understanding of emotion that he's not connecting to with neurotypical people,
Yeah.
and trying to translate that. Like once he gets explained to him, he's like, "Oh yeah, no, yeah, let me just shut up. Let me not do thing.
Hmm.
Or let me try to comfort in a way that makes sense to me, but doesn't. It's not. It doesn't make sense."
Yeah, and it's very natural that they do that too, the way they set it up within this episode even, because like he immediately starts trying to kill the Red Dragon when the Red Dragon shows up, all the while Peacemaker is hesitating. So like to him, it's just like, oh, this fucking guy again. This guy's a problem. He needs to be eliminated. And
He's
of course,
also a
for
racist
Peacemaker,
piece of
that's his
shit who I've
jam.
already fought once before because he's a racist piece of shit.
Hmm. Um, and um, I don't know. How did you feel about that flashback we got at the start of the episode? Finally getting that backstory fleshed out.
I like it because it really just showcases like here's the thing. We've always known that Peacemaker felt guilty about his brother's death, and we never figured out why. And the figuring out why is, oh, he was complacent and even
He
joyous
was
about the
and he wasn't responsible.
yeah, but he was complacent in the abuse him and his brother received. In fact, he reveled in it to an extent. And looking back, he realizes, wow, no, my childhood was fucked up. I was abused, and that's not my fault.
Mhm. Yeah, it's very good from a storytelling perspective and a character fleshing out angle. The only problem I had with it is just like that scene is set before Terminator 2 came out, and fucking I forgot his name again. Robert Patrick looks almost exactly the same he does in the present day of Peacemaker in that flashback. He's just wearing a different wig, and I'm like, that's not what he looked like back then.
That's a nitpick. He's playing a different
Yeah.
character.
Mhm.
Plus, he's a racist asshole, and you know racism adds 30 years when you're that young.
That's true.
I'm not, folks. I wish I was kidding. Like, you look at some racist assholes, they look way older than they should be.
Hmm. Yeah, no, it was interesting. I went I mean, if you're following me on social media, you know I just got back from a trip today,
Mm-hmm.
and we encountered several just like not necessarily confrontationally, but we just saw several people that it was like, oh yeah, okay, easily to tell there.
Yep.
Mhm.
Um, but no, I because it also, for lack of a better way of describing it, it's also sort of deconstruction of what is Peacemaker's comic book origin to an extent. You know,
Mhm.
son of a soldier who trained him from a young age on how to be an effective soldier. Like, in and of itself, that is abuse.
Yeah,
But
it's the same thing that happened to Cassandra Cain, kind of.
yeah, but when you put it through the lens of also a person who would do that to a kid is also pretty fucked in the head.
Yeah, like oh my God, that speech he has when Peacemaker is down for the count, like it is a lot of buzzwords and stereotypical stuff you hear associated with people like that, but when it's all stacked one after another in a complete sentence targeted at this character we've been following, it is the most shocked I've felt hearing that stuff in a while, which says something about the state of the world, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a big fucked thing, you know.
Hmm.
And
Um,
and in,
I
and in,
do like that because Gunn is Gunn, he's not afraid to have a little bit of fun with it either. Like, even though it is ostensibly a clan uniform, the Red Dragon suit is shot really well. It looks really cool. It looks like an evil Iron Man armor, basically.
yeah, and
Um,
here's the thing: every once in a while, though, it looks incredibly goofy.
yeah. Uh, like after the grenade goes off and the one guy's trying to help him up. Um, or I also just like the other Klansmen, how they're kind of played for laughs and like just completely useless. Um,
Yeah,
like the most useful one is the woman he had over just to have sex with, and she ended up being brought along.
and she's only useful for a few minutes. Yeah, she's only useful for a few minutes, and then they realize, oh, we've been following a goddamn raccoon like a couple of idiots,
Mhm.
and it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. It's also just great because like that raccoon is the most damage Peacemaker sustains the whole episode, or at least the most visible damage.
Yep.
Uh, hey Buster, welcome to the chat. Also, what you cheating on us? What the fuck?
No,
That's
no,
cool.
no. They're expanding the modular framework.
Yeah.
No. Also, something
Um.
funny I just want to point out, just because I could recognize it. Cody would probably be able to recognize it better. The gun that Peacemaker had in his hand, that he killed Dragon with,
Yeah,
his
that's like
dad
an
with.
actual Nazi gun, isn't
That's a
it?
Nazi gun. That's a Nazi gun he was using. Which is just like, oh, they're not just neo Nazis. They're like, oh no, we want to have Nazi gun neo Nazis.
Yeah. Uh, badass Buster. Way to go. Um, but no, all that stuff was super neat. And then like I like that the episode still goes the extra mile. Like they could have easily ended it there and just been like short one this week. But then we also get all that stuff that's kind of catching our breath before the big climax of next week
Hmm.
at that veterinary clinic, which was all super fun stuff. It's not nearly as exciting, but it's fun and it's good solid character building. Like all the little stuff with Vigilante wanting to kill the vets, and everybody just being like, "You fucking moron."
But it's also
Um,
like, with the vigilante character as we know him, he is just thinking about this through the most logical way he can think of, which is they know who we are. We need to hide ourselves. This is all secret. Killing them's the easiest solution.
yeah, and then even after that, they're like, "Oh, you're gonna go kill aliens? We'll go with you."
Like once they hear the whole thing, they're like, "Yo, you're trying to save the planet? No, we understand. Let us help."
Mm-hmm. Uh, and then like that scene with Eagly was just so touching. The only thing I didn't like about it, which is just a thing with this episode in general, I either they got him a new one incredibly quick, or the writers just forgot that Peacemaker's phone was destroyed.
Uh, no, that's Vigilante's phone.
No, because when Harcourt calls it, he has a new voicemail set up that is if you have a message for Chris or Eagly.
Hmm. I don't know. No, she may be calling his home number. Don't think
Maybe,
so.
but like,
Maybe
why would
not.
she call his phone number after it got ransacked?
I don't
It's
know.
just it's a very minor plot hole, but it's a nitpicky thing I noticed.
True. He may have had multiple
There
phones.
might even be a scene on the cutting room floor of just Mern going, "Here's a new phone, dickhead."
Yeah. I don't know. And it didn't take me out of the episode while I was watching it, and it's also a cute callback to the very first episode.
Hmm. Uh, and I will tell you another thing. I also like t not necessarily took issue with, but just wasn't into with this episode. All the Judo Master stuff. Like I get it. I get why that all had to be there. It worked very hard to get Harcourt and Autobio on the same page again, but it felt like retread to me. Like really, this guy escaped again.
I mean, it's just kind of it is a weird mix of just other than him being in, I think it's a weird thing because like they brought him in. Fact being an old
Hey,
man complaining about phones.
hey, hey, Buster, Buster, Buster. I am an old man.
Oh
I'm
dear
the angry
God.
dad of Toku Tubers. Don't you forget it.
How am I older than you and have a better head of hair?
Genes are cruel things.
And then we look at Snow Cone. Who looks like a snow cone?
There's your one for tonight.
No, it just feels like it's kind of like we have this character, we need him in the climax, and we need to do something with him, and we need to have him have a reason why he's around.
Uh-huh.
Eh.
Yeah. Gotta do something. Gotta do this. Also, apparently, he's just not a butterfly at all.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the idea of like we theorize that the butterflies are wanting to take over and kind of shepherd humanity. Like
Uh-huh.
all these guys are idiots. We need to rule them so they're not idiots.
Yeah.
Maybe he goes like, yeah. With the way Judo Master acts, he's like, yeah, people are idiots. They don't deserve to rule themselves.
That is a fair reading, actually. Yeah. Um, the only other thing I can really think to discuss is how do you feel about the design of the cow?
It is appropriately Lovecraftian,
Hmm.
but with big enough eyes that you sympathize with the fact that it's seemingly in pain.
Yeah. I I didn't love it, but I'm not like that's a bad design. Like something about it, I was just like, doesn't quite work for me. Like I feel like it should have had a feeding tube or something. Because I'm like, otherwise, how is it making this thing they're milking from it?
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they drive big trucks up to its mouth every day.
yeah. Or maybe that's not its eating mouth. Maybe it has a second mouth.
It's entirely possible.
Because I've actually,
Um,
this is a tangent. I've actually been
okay.
watching a lot of videos on speculative biology.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
Vaguely.
Basically, it's biologists. It's like a little bit of biology, a little bit of sci-fi, a little bit of world building, but it's basically going like, all right. So if aliens were to exist, how could an ecosystem work with these like little parameters that we kind of come up with? Like, how could this work? You know.
Yeah.
So like, what if the predominant species that came into power in the early signs of life on the planet had four aspects of their mouth and not like two like we have, because their ours were up and down. What if it was like four, like it came out like that? What would life look like if everything kind of had that planned pattern with like four eyes and a bunch of other little bits and bobs? Or
Makes sense.
there's one project where basically humanity wanted to run an experiment, so they took basically a blank planet, terraformed it, put a bunch of plants on it, put some guppies and tiny fish on it, and put just a shitload of canaries. Just a fucking shitload of canaries. And then left it alone. And let the canaries breed and evolve into a bunch of different things with all this food around to see what would happen. Like, would they turn
And
into.
that and that's how you get whatever the fuck Stratos from Masters of the Universe is.
But here's the funny thing: the guppies also evolved and turned into land animals.
Oh.
They do a bunch of things like that. It's interesting, and it's a little bits like that. So like speculative, like one of the projects is basically like, yeah, these animals have two heads. Like one is like an operating head, and one is like the actual eating head, and it's more like a throat, just to expose the throat. And like all these animals use it in different ways. So I'm going like, maybe it's just maybe it eats out its butt. Maybe it just eats out its butt.
It's entirely possible.
I mean, a lot of us talk out of our ass. Ha 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 ha.
I'm sure
Um,
things can be better, man, and not say speak for yourself.
I mean, I could always do the Ace Ventura. Hello.
Mm, that's true.
Ace Ventura is a really good movie until like the last 20 minutes, and then you can just turn it off.
I actually haven't seen it. I haven't
Yeah,
seen a lot of the Jim Carrey classics. I think The Mask is the only one I've seen front to back.
Ace Ventura has aged not like not like milk. It has aged like already rotten milk. Do you know why?
Okay.
Do I need to explain?
Wow. Sure,
Um,
let's have an Ace Ventura hot
no,
take on
it's
this
real quick.
podcast.
No, it's not even a hot take. It's like everybody agrees. Blatant and massive transphobia.
Oh,
Yeah, like that is a central plot point, and several jokes are made at the expense of trans women, and it is just not good. It's not good.
groovy.
There's a crying game reference.
What the fuck is... do I want to know what Crying Game is right now?
It's a drama film from like the early '90s, I think, involving a trans woman.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not grand. Ace Ventura, not grand. You can watch the second one without a problem though. No transphobia.
I appreciate you not ripping off my IP there, by the way.
But in the meantime,
Yee.
Peacemaker. Also the full realization that Peacemaker had that his dad betrayed his trust with the helmets.
Yeah.
Boingo looks so chill and wise. It's because I'm at a 3/4.
It's almost like I have anger management issues, and this guy can't focus on anything long enough to get mad at it.
Yeah. I'm also at a 3/4, so it's like it's a different kind of take. It's more of like, you're gonna hate me for this. Wojak and Chad. Look at the screen. It's a Wojak and a Chad meme.
What's a Wojak?
You know those fucking line drawings and memes where the guy's just going to.
Oh, I thought that was Virgin versus Chad.
I mean, they've in the middle of yeah. No, I mean, there's Wojak's been against Chads and some things. It depends. Memery is a long, complicated web.
It certainly is. It's all a rich tapestry.
But we do get the big damn hero shot as we're walking towards a pet-themed RV to go take on Zakao.
Oh, that's what that's called.
What?
I thought that drawing was Stoner.
No, Wojak's.
Okay.
Wojak. Here's the thing. There is Virgin and Chad, but there's also Wojak's, and Chad is in relation to Wojak's. There's layers.
Yeah, I definitely sexually identify as a Wojak.
God damn you.
You can put that on my channel banner.
Okay. Do we have anything else we want to talk about the Peacemaker for?
Not as far as I know.
So, let's talk about the latest episode of Earth's Mightiest Heroes we watched, which is episode 16, Widow's Bite. Widow's
Sting.
It's
Sting!
It's Sting! It's Black Widow!
And Mockingbird. This is the introduction of Mockingbird, at least the proper one.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good. This show continues to really impress me with its... Buster, you don't have that kind of power. This show continues to impress me with his voice casting, because, like, I never would have picked frickin' Buttercup from the Powerpuff Girls to voice Bobby Moores, but, like, it really fits with that character model.
Like I say, this is the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited for the Marvel Universe. It is pitch perfect casting, pitch perfect designs. It really showcases the entire history of
its characterization that feels so on point that it's like you don't even really need to discuss it or analyze it too much. It's just like, yeah, of course this is how Hawkeye would act in this situation.
Yeah. He is a hothead asshole who just is focusing on the one thing he wants.
And not considering the bigger picture or that there might be ulterior motives at all.
And then the minute that is fucking told to him, it's like, oh, I'm the asshole. Fuck.
I'm gonna still do it, though.
And Black Panther being basically the subtweet master.
Mm-hmm.
Of just standing around going like, y'all a bunch of fucking idiots, fuck you. I'm gonna help you though, but y'all idiots.
And I love how Cap is trying to be Team Dad. He's like, alright, listen Clint, this is why this is not a great idea. You really need to course correct here. Okay, you went and did it anyway, I'll help you. I'll help you, buddy. It's okay.
Yeah. Also, great MODOK.
Mm-hmm. Great MODOK. MODOK continues to be a joy in this series. As do just like Mook character design, because I'm sure we'd seen them before, but like this is the first time I really paid attention to the Hydra grunt design in this show. Oh my god, I want figures.
Hydra looks great because it looks militaristic, but they look like Mooks.
They not they look like real world Nazi stormtroopers through a GI Joe action figure filter.
And that's really what Hydra needs to be. It's like Nazis, but like marketable.
Yes.
Strucker looks great. He has a cool glove and gauntlet, but he's still fucking evil.
Yeah, it would. It really would, Buster. Because Buster just put in the chat, Earth's Mightiest Heroes Marvel Legends subline would rock. I don't see it ever happening, at least not in the current climate though, just because I have seen demand for it on the Legends subreddit, but like they're more focused on 90s nostalgia.
Yeah, and like for all that we say, like this is a perfect example of Marvel. This is a perfect adaptation of Marvel comics throughout the years in terms of like tone and style and like getting at what the heart of Marvel is. Similar to how Justice League gets to the heart of what DC is. This didn't do well. It had 2 seasons,
Hmm.
and more people remember and talk about 90s Spider-Man and the 90s X-Men
But the
and
fact of the matter is, this has a legacy similar to X-Men Evolution, where like not everybody remembers this show, but the people who remember it love it.
like
Um,
I have a feeling in a couple years this might get the in a similar way of like Transformers Prime to the Transformers line. It's looked at very respected. You'll take elements from it, but
mhm.
or I mean not Prime,
Yeah.
animated.
Yeah. Um, I could very much see like I think in 10 years we could see in X-Men Evolution designs, if Legends is still around, we could see those designs showing up in Legends. And in like another 5 years after that, maybe EMH shows up.
Yeah.
That's just the cycle of nostalgia in the toy industry and that kind of stuff, which takes way too long. And trust me, I feel your pain, X-Men Evolution and Avengers vs. Mightiest Heroes fans. I'm still waiting for Hasbro to show their promised Unicron trilogy figures in the Legacy line. Still
Yeah.
waiting for that.
Yeah. No, we got to get G1 Bulkhead though.
Fair play. That figure turned out better than I expected it to. I might end up getting it,
Yeah.
but like I didn't ask for
I do like
that.
Theo's point of view on that of like it's a really good big bloke figure to just have for a lot of displays that you can just do,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
But back at hand, Mockingbird, great in this episode. Great foil to Hawkeye.
Yeah. It's it's really crazy because like I've always heard people make this comparison, but like it's not really until the last couple of years because I read a mini series about them recently, and then I watched this episode and it's like, oh, they really are just Green Arrow and Black Canary, but for the Marvel universe.
Yeah, with slightly different mindsets and powers.
Uh-huh. Because I think in the comics, doesn't Bobby have like some kind of luck powers or something?
No, she just has sticks.
Oh.
The only luck power people I can think of are Longshot, Black Cat, and Domino.
Okay. Um, But yeah, that's great. It's a really good character introduction. They do a proper arc with her within this episode, which is impressive when there's so much other stuff going on. But then there's also the like double reveal at the end of like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, Black Widow is doing some proper spy shit, and also Madam Hydra was a Skrull. Skrulls are in the show now. Fuck you.
Leaning towards really the beginnings of the first showings of a very modern event in this show, which will be Secret
Yeah.
Invasion. Which honestly, out of any modern event that you can like adapt and turn into an older style Marvel story, Secret Invasion makes the most sense.
Yeah, like there's a part of me that feels like Secret Invasion should have happened before the Kree Skrull War.
Yeah. But like no, Secret Invasion's like it may have not gotten everything right when it came out, but like Secret Invasion makes a lot of sense as a Marvel event to do.
Yeah. A lot of the events from that time where Bendis was calling the shots, despite him not being the best internal logic character writer through continuity, like steering the universe,
His
he's good
continuity
at,
is always a line too, but greater
yeah, and he's good
continuity.
at steering the universe in general directions. I've always thought.
He's lost that touch now though. Rokolzar.
I'll do you one better, Event Leviathan.
Ooh, ooh. Has that even come up since that happened?
No.
Ooh, lovely, lovely.
That event was a proper wet fart.
Mm, mm, mm.
So let's talk about the next proper wet fart, huh?
Oh, you mean some general newsery that we need to get to?
Yeah, because DC has announced their summer 2022 comic book event. From Josiah Williams and Philip Kennedy Johnson comes Dark Crisis.
Recently, we announced that
Yeah, Dark Crisis.
The Justice League gonna die and everybody gonna react to it. That's the premise. Even though, like, Batman's off doing, like, in his own book, Batman is touring the world solving cases right now. In his own book, Superman is on another planet. And in her own book, Diana's trapped in, like, a pocket dimension dealing with extra dimensional gods. So, like, what? What? Okay. It's an interesting enough, like, almost what if style premise, but we're doing it in main continuity that it's like, I am morbidly curious about this.
Here's the thing. I think what they're trying to do is really just go like, no, we're back. They're going all new, all different.
Oh yeah, that's definitely what's going on here because they're leaning in towards. They've been trying to get Clark out of the way for a long time. Diana, not so much. She's just been kind of like in the background of her own universe because we've been focusing on Yara. And Bruce is the one that's like, whoa, really? Because shunting Bruce to the background and killing him so suddenly is really crazy to me. And now we're doing this big event that is like the entire Justice League all dies at once. And now the legacy heroes have to step up. We're gonna properly move into the age of John Kent, Superman, Jace, Fox, Batman, and Yarn Floor Wonder Woman.
Okay.
And of course Wally. I don't know if that's Wally West that dies on the Justice League or if that's Barry Allen, because Wally West is in a Flash costume right now.
But he's not in that Flash costume right now. He's
in that Flash costume.
I thought he had a head sock still. I thought he's had a head sock.
No. That was a couple years ago. He's in a plain Flash costume now. He showed up wearing that in Son of Kal-El recently.
Okay. Who else could it be then? Bart? Bart Allen?
Maybe Bart's going to take over. Maybe Black Wally West is going to take over.
I don't know. We saw a white dude hanging out with John Kent fighting bad guys.
I would think it has to be Barry then, and we're just gonna make Wally officially the Flash again. Which, that's awesome, I guess. It's a small win.
Yeah. If Wally West dies though, oof.
Like Buster, I get that sentiment, but like that's something DC's internalized. That Crisis doesn't have a lot of meaning anymore. It's to the point where like some books will make jokes about it. Like I was reading a Teen Titans related book recently where the Titans were being briefed on some catastrophe that was happening, and Beast Boy was like, "This isn't another Crisis, is it?" Like that's a thing that happened in an actual DC comic. Like they're aware of it. but they still gotta
Yeah.
make that cheddar.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think the problem is with that is just like it's an internal editorial thing because that's their big brand for big events. While just because this is the easiest comparison to make, well, Marvel has like a couple little things, and it's easily modifiable because it's just war. Secret War, Civil War, Secret Wars.
Yeah. It's also just weird because, like, the initial Crisis on Infinite Earths, well, it does get super complicated in how it tries to resolve and clean up continuity. The basic premise of it is very simple and it's very straightforward. There's a big extra-dimensional bad guy. He's trying to destroy all of reality. We gotta stop him.
Yeah.
Every other Crisis, like, is very complicated and messy, or like doesn't even have a proper villain. And it seems like this might be another one of those.
Or it's not even like a crisis in the way that Infinite Crisis was, like the one where it's just a murder mystery with Sue Daphne.
Sue Dibney.
Daphne. I got a vowel wrong.
That being said, though, like, I will give this a chance out of morbid curiosity. I'm going to read Justice League 75, and I'll read the first issue of Dark Crisis. Beyond that, I'm not making any promises, but I do want to give it a shot. Because I don't hate Joshua Williamson. He's an okay writer, and, like, at the very least, this is an interesting premise.
Hey, at the very least, it's not Bendis doing it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what God-based event titles does DC have?
War of the Gods is the only one I can think of.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to remember, like, big DC events, and it's like Infinite Crisis, 0 Hour, Invasion, what's the one with the it's the one right before Justice League International. Godfrey's brainwashing people to think superheroes are bad. It's like right after Crisis.
What the? I don't know.
You know what story I'm talking about, at least.
I know that time period, yes.
Like right after Crisis, right before all the other gobbledygooks. I'm not saying Marvel's perfect with events. Marvel is not anywhere near perfect with events.
No, because no one's perfect with events, because events are very easy to screw up.
Because honestly, here's the thing. I don't think events are a bad thing. I think events are a fine, regular occurrence for, like, fun stories. But if you try to make every event this world-shattering, everything changes...
The entire line has to bow and bend over to the whim of this one story.
Meanwhile, if you do a big event that does, like, affect the entire world, but, like, you could reasonably wrap it up in, like, a couple days in timeline, so it doesn't affect any other book, yeah, cool, do it. Like, Monsters Unleashed, where just a bunch of fucking kaiju attack Earth.
Yeah.
Or Devil's Reign, which is only affecting New York right now, and is only affecting a select few characters.
If you're waiting for me to throw a DC example out, I'm not feeling that sharp tonight. We did just have Dark Knight's Metal, but that was an entirely different thing, and that wasn't labeled as a crisis. Like, that was supposed to be a Batman event that just turned into DC's big event for what was supposed to be a year, and then ended up being 3 years, because Scott Snyder doesn't understand the word brevity.
Yeah. But it also turned into a fucking crisis event. And no, you know what it turned into? It turned into one of those DC let's make a bunch of heroes events.
Yeah. Let's make a bunch of action figures, more like.
Because, like, they did that with Invasion, they did that with the Spine one that fucking Comic Bop talked about recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that's a whole thing. But that's enough of that thing, I think. So let's talk about figures. Shall we talk about Todd's latest reveals?
Yeah, which is seemingly cool. I don't know how you feel about it, but
It's a video game wave, so like, okay.
yeah, it's a line based off of DC video games. So the Arkham games and Infamous.
hmm We're
Uh,
getting we're getting Arkham Knights from the
Red
game
Hood.
Arkham Knight. Yeah, there's gonna be a repaint of this as Red Hood. We all know it. And then we're getting Injustice 2, Green Arrow, and Reverse Flash. This is the first time Green Arrow's been in the line period, and like other than the side eye, I actually really like the look of this figure. Like I've not seen this design before, but it works as a solid Green Arrow design, I think.
How hard would it be to repaint the eyes, like go over with white and give them a new pupil?
It would be a it I think it really depends on how steady your hands are. Like it wouldn't be a huge pain in the ass, but it would be a task.
I just want to say this single photo of Reverse Flash is hilarious.
Oh no, I actually hate this reverse flash design. I think this figure looks big and bulky and cluttered and awful. And that's just the design. Like this is not a good reverse flash design to me. It looks like he's a big troll that's over encumbered with too much armor.
He looks too thick. No, if you're doing a Flash figure, it needs to be the size of like Pizza Spider-Man.
Yeah. I don't look at this and think Eobard Fawn. I look at this and I think high school quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, the face sculpt looks good.
It's okay.
But yeah, no. I think they all look okay. They look solid.
hmm
It's just, yeah.
Yeah, it's a decent little wave. And it also gave us a chance to get some more information on what the heck is going on with this line, because Todd actually responded to some comments on Instagram recently where apparently people were wondering about certain when we were going to get females in the Batman 66 line, and he said that Julie Newmar Catwoman is on the way in like the next wave or so. However, it's entirely possible he may never do Yvonne Craig Batgirl because Yvonne Craig's estate is not playing ball.
Mm. Which, fair enough on all parties. It's just like, what are you going to do?
Mhm. Yeah. And then he also addressed the side eye issue because we've talked about this. It's a thing that like I feel like only annoys figure fans. Like if you're just a general comic fan and you want a figure of a character, it probably won't bother you as much as it bothers
It'll
someone
be a
like me.
curiosity of like, why is he looking that way?
Yeah. But like for people like me, that's like, oh, that severely limits the posing options. What the heck? We've been bugging Todd about this, and he has explained that to him, figures looking straight on makes them look like mannequins, and that's not how he looks at his action fig. That's not how he wants his action figures to be perceived, which is interesting because I've never heard somebody make that comment about a figure that's looking straight on. But okay, Todd. Um, and he's also said because of the overwhelming negative response, he's not going back to straight on, but the figures won't be looking so hard to the side in future releases.
Which, I mean, if you're looking for a compromise, that's an okay compromise to have. Honestly, in all reality, what you should do is have multiple heads with different eye options if that's the route you want to
Mhm.
go on.
Or if you want to get all Figma with it, give us like swappable faceplates.
Yeah, but then the cost will go up. That's the big thing
That's true. Higher parts count.
Todd is working. He isn't working with the Legend scale model of toys, but he is working within that like similar budgetary range of like $20 to $30 figures.
Yeah, and that's why, and he wants everything to be a unique sculpt, which is why we see so many repaints in this line that's just like, here's a different head and maybe it's got some battle damage paint on it
It
or
also
something
doesn't
like
help
that.
that they're not trying to have like a unified figure art style, like their
No,
design
he's
language.
just basing it off of whatever the figure is from.
Because Marvel Legends tends to have like a unified design language between all the figures of like, even if it's a contemporary figure with a brand new design, it's like, all right, cool, how can we make this fit with everything else relatively?
Mm-hmm. The only real hard difference there is with the MCU stuff, and even then, the MCU stuff isn't as hyper realistic as I'm sure some people would want it to be, which is
Yeah,
why there's people who collect MCU figure arts instead of the Legends.
right. And that's just, and to me, the MCU stuff is just more of like, hey, do you want the MCU figures and Legends? Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
But like, even the figures that are meant to be specific eras or specific designs still err on the side of the unified language. Like, look at any of the game series Legends.
Yeah, the Gamerverse, I think, is what they call
Yeah,
that
the
subline.
Gamerverse, which is mostly just the Avengers,
Mm-hmm. Like
uh, Avengers,
Miles here.
Guardians,
My
and the
This
Spider-Man
looks
games.
like this is going to be my general Miles because
Yeah,
it looks close enough to the comic design, and that's inherent to the video game too. But like this figure is clearly made with the intention of like this is an upgrade to the comic Miles they made years and years ago. Um, and like it does have those video game details. You get up close on it, you can see the little lines carved in, but it's not so overt that you're like, oh, that is PS4 Miles.
know what I would
Um,
enjoy? That's just what they call it, Buster. It's just called Gamerverse.
that's also been the name of the line for like literal years now.
Yeah. You know what I'd love to see? PlayStation 1 Spider-Man just full on polygon, low poly action figure.
Let's see like Kyoto or someone doing a figure like that.
Because the PS1 Spider-Man games were fucking good. They were good beat 'em ups. They were good little action games.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of fond memories of them.
I played a fair bit of the Spider-Man 2 and 3 games as a kid. Also, Friend or Foe. Friend or Foe was very much in that same style. I think it was like a beat 'em up, world hopping kind of thing. But this isn't a video game podcast. Let's talk
Hey,
about
Buster,
toys.
Buster, on that note, though, Microsoft. Microsoft may be willing to play ball. Who knows? Because they did just buy Activision. Yeah,
It's
this is what I'm saying. It's like
no more games.
I just want low poly. Just give me an entire figure line of low poly characters.
One day we'll do it with modular. I promise, buddy.
I just like low poly. Low poly's fun.
One day when we have a toy company sub company, that'll be a thing we do.
Speaking of maximum poly, we got a Doc Ock Hot Toys.
Yeah, based off of the No Way Home look, and I think most of this figure looks very good. The face sculpt looks surprisingly off for Hot Toys to me.
I think it's the glasses. Because without the glasses, he looks okay. The glasses are just like,
I'm looking at the without the glasses shot, and he looks like Alfred Molina's stunt double to me. Like it's not bad. This is still a really good looking figure, and I like that they have because nowadays there's always the basic hot toy and then the deluxe version. The deluxe option is you get alternate tentacles for when the nanotech got on them. I like that option. I like all the detailing on this figure. It's just something about the likeness is slightly off to me.
yeah. But I think he looks good. And for people who
Oh,
want Hot Toys, this looks like a good solid pick.
I mean, it's definitely tempting just from the thing of like those are big, huge, bendy wire Doc Ock tentacles.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be fun to mess around with.
Yeah.
And
No!
then,
You know what he looks like?
what?
He doesn't look like Alfred Molina.
What does he look like?
Ray Romano.
He does look like Ray Romano.
Hey, Spider-Man. I'm awkward. There we go. Best Ray Romano impression. I don't have one.
That sounds more like his brother's character to me. I'm thinking like, Spider-Man, it's me, Ray Romano. What you do with my machine, Spider-Man?
But, yeah. If you want Ray Romano as Dr. Octopus, Hot Toys is your place to get him. I mean, Ray Romano wouldn't be a bad Doc Ock, though.
He'd be an okay Doc Ock. Anyway, let's talk about these Marvel Legends solicitations, because we've seen all these figures before, but we now have the proper high-res pre-order images for the next wave of Marvel Legends X-Men, which is the Bonebreaker Build-A-Figure wave with, let's see here. We got Maggots, we have Darwin.
I have the whole thing here, so if you just want me to,
Yes.
We got Siren, Hot Claws, Wolverine, Havoc, Bonebreaker, Darwin, Sabretooth, Maggot, and Vulcan.
And Vulcan and Darwin are both the new base body. What they're advertising as like the thing that's replacing the Bucky Cap body. So like sort of exciting in that extent, but like there's also some things that people are being very quibbly about with this wave. Like a lot of people are annoyed that it's Hot Claws Wolverine and they didn't just go the extra inch to give us Astonishing Wolverine. But I'm like, guys, baby steps, baby steps. But the big thing that I do agree with people, there's no screaming head for Siren.
Yeah.
That is a major screw up on the Marvel Legends team, in my opinion. Like that's just something where it's like, that should be in there. If you're gonna give her one alternate piece, forget the hands. Give her an alternate screaming head.
Yeah, and she even has like screaming hands of what she the tensing up and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Everything else on her looks great. She looks like a great Siren.
Here's hoping they like release her as part of a free pack and are able to get us a screaming head that way, because that's a thing they'll do sometimes, is like release a character in a slightly different look with an alternate head that more so fits with that first figure of them down the line. Like I know they've done that with Rogue. In some way, they did that to make up a stuffing for Rogue, but I don't remember what.
Havoc looks good.
Oh yeah, that Havoc figure looks gorgeous. I know there's I saw some people saying like he's supposed to have like a silver collar around his neck, but like it looks like Havoc to me, so I'm fine with it. I'm like, look at those.
He looks like Havoc. He looks like Havoc in Hellions.
Yeah, and he has unique effects parts. How often do we get that in Marvel Legends? Almost never.
Darwin looks amazing, but it is really hard to fucking give accessories to Darwin, because if you will give any accessory to Darwin, it's just like, but I would rather him have gills. It's like, Jesus Christ.
All right, buddy.
Yeah, you know. Maggot looks amazing. Maggot's amazing. Look at Maggot.
Maggot looks like an amazing toy design. He doesn't look like an amazing character design to me.
That's what Maggot looks like.
Buster is one of the PR comics. They have PR comics coming out every week of the month now. Where have you been?
Where have you been, bud? No, but Maggot looks great, in my opinion. But that's just what Maggot looks like. Remember, he came out in the late to mid 90s. That's just what superheroes looked like in the mid to late 90s.
Yes, the dark times. I'm familiar with them.
But, like, the Maggots look great. He looks good. Fuck yeah, Maggot.
Yeah. I'll never be opposed to a character getting their first toy. So, like, good for Maggot. Finally, he gets a figure.
Yeah.
That's fair, Buster. That is fair. College and ADHD are certainly things.
Vulcan looks good. The body looks great. It looks super simple, so they can do a lot of extra things onto it later.
Mm-hmm. I tell you what, I don't care about Vulcan or Darwin at all as characters, but like I might pick up one of the two of them just to get hands on with that body.
Darwin's a cool character.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're gonna have Cyclops,
I liked him up until his final scene in First Class.
Yeah, because they fucking butchered the character. But hey, it makes sense to have Vulcan if you want to have like a full Summers Bro setup.
Yeah, and I do already have Scott, so if I see both Havoc and Vulcan on a peg, that's probably what will make me cave on figures from this wave.
And then you could be the cheeky bastard and go like, oh wait, the fourth Summers brother? You mean Gambit? Because that's always been the fucking headcanon joke rumor thing.
I've never heard that, but okay.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. Gambit doesn't have an origin. His life story starts when he's adopted by the Thieves Guild. No one knows where he came from. No one knows his biological parents.
In all these years of Gambit being like one of the most popular X-Men, especially among female readers, they've never fleshed him out and given him a tragic backstory or anything.
No, his tragic backstory is the Thieves Guild. They've already done that. It's the Thieves Guild. We just don't know his biological parents and why he was given up for adoption.
I feel like that's a thing that should have happened during the Hickman era. I don't know why. I just feel like that's something a Hickman era writer would have done.
But the big thought behind it is, what if he's another Summers brother? Because there was already, like, when he first introduced, that kind of like, oh, you look a lot like Scott. Like, you could be brothers. And when they realized they didn't want to do that, they dropped it. Because that was the original plan for Gambit. He was supposed to be a Summers brother. But they dropped it. Yeah! They dropped it. They didn't do it. But, like, they never picked up what Gambit is instead.
God damn it, Chris Claremont.
And here's the other thing. Gambit has weird things with his eyes. Scott has weird stuff with his eyes. What is Gambit's power but kinetic force manipulation? What is Havoc and Scott's and Vulcan's power? Kinetic force manipulation.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, buddy boy. But I mean, it makes sense for Gambit because, like, it took Wolverine 30 years to get an origin story.
That's true. But that was, I feel like that was on purpose. The character was designed not to have an origin story.
True.
Gambit, it sounds like somebody just dropped the ball.
Yeah. No, Gambit's great.
Anyway, you want to talk about this Doctor Strange trailer?
Yeah, here's the tweet.
Yeah, we can't play it. We're not going to do that again. We're not going to have that happen again. I really liked that it looks like a Doctor Strange thing. I like that I'm looking at a Doctor Strange thing and I'm going, that looks like a Doctor Strange thing, because I haven't had that with a Doctor Strange thing in the MCU quite yet.
It's very tentatively Doctor Strangey.
Mm-hmm. But like it's a good 5 steps closer than we've been.
Yes. This is the Doctor Strange movie being directed by Sam Raimi.
And they make a big deal out of that in this trailer too.
Yep. And I'm looking at the end little credit bits on this trailer. It says music by Danny Elfman, so that makes me happy.
Boy. But no, it looks really good. I like that it seems to be like it is very much a movie about Steven dealing with some shit, and like a lot of other characters you would expect to be super major things are more pushed to are more like side arcs. They're coming in as like assists. Because you've got America Chavez, you got Wong, you got now Master Mordo, is going to be his name, at least according to the toys. And you got Wanda, but they all feel like they must have their own little cordoned off sections of the films because you like see a little bit of each of them in this trailer, and it looks like entirely different settings.
Yeah, we also see the Minotaur Man from the fucking old Doctor Strange comics, which is just fun.
Yeah, and he's the Build-A-Figure for that movie wave too.
So hopefully he's a bigger part of it.
Uh-huh. Also, I find it funny that there's a shot of people running from Shin Magorath as if they're like trying to keep it a secret in this trailer when we already know from the last trailer that Shin Magorath is in this
I mean,
movie.
it's Shin Magorath, but they can't call it Shin Magorath, but it's Shin Magorath.
Yeah. What are they calling it? Is it like Igor or something like that?
Yeah, it's from the It's from the Lego sets.
Yeah, they pulled a slave one. Um, but no, it looks good. It looks great, and I fucking hate comics Twitter because the first thing I saw after the actual tweet for the trailer was fucking news sites going like, Patrick Stewart is back as Professor X in this trailer. We hear a voice that sounds like Patrick Stewart. We don't have confirmation that Patrick Stewart is in this movie, and we sure as hell do not have confirmation that he is playing Professor X.
No. But I did see one kind of through line thought, and I'm kind of like putting a little pitch headcanon-y spin to it. I do think it might be Patrick Stewart, and I do think it's Professor X. I don't think it's that Professor X. Because there was also rumors of Tom Cruise, Tony Stark.
There's rumors of that. I've seen people are talking about like different like possible Marvel things from around the universe. Like I've heard Thomas Jane Punisher, I've heard Nick Cage, Ghost Rider, I've heard I mean the big one that went around for like a couple weeks after No Way Home came out was a lot of people want Evans to come back not as Captain America but as Johnny Storm for a cameo.
Here's the thing. I don't think we're going to get any of that. I think we're getting a multiversal Illuminati.
Oh,
And that's where the Evil Strange comes in.
that's an interesting idea.
So, like...
Oh, dude, is this gonna be the first time we see Reed Richards and fucking Namor in the MCU?
This
His
might...
evil doppelgangers from another reality?
And then, here's the thing. They don't have to cast the full character. They can just cast a big famous actor and just go like, yeah, it's a different universe. Don't worry about it. Fuck it.
That's crazy. I'd be into that. Yeah. Okay.
And they're using Professor Xavier, Patrick Stewart, as kind of like the introduction. It's like, we already know he's in an alternate universe, so we can kind of fudge it a little bit. And this is our way of like acknowledging that the X-Men universe is a thing without having to make it canon or anything like that.
They totally won't do this, but you know what I would love? Patrick Stewart is just doing the voice, and he's dubbing over a body double that is young, fit, bodysuit, Cerebro helmet, Professor X from the current comics.
Ooh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Mhm.
Oh, what if they also give us like full-on extremis armor Tom Cruise, Tony Stark?
Yeah.
Just full-on body horror, holes in the skin, micro machines coming out.
Give us the weird, crazy shit we would never see in a proper movie.
Man.
And
Because when I first saw that little bit, my brain immediately went, "Oh, Council of Reeds."
yeah, there's that possibility. Um, it could be like a Council of Doctor Stranges. That's possible. But like also, do you or do you not think that the evil Doctor Strange in this movie is the evil Doctor Strange from What If?
I am hesitant to say it's the same Strange because that Strange went through a character arc and is not as evil anymore.
But he did also get dumped back in that reality where nothing else exists. He could have gone crazy from loneliness.
True, but like he went through a character arc, and it just feels kind of like, unless he's there not as like I am big bad evil, and it's more like, hey, I'm here to give you advice, menacingly.
Mm.
You know, if he's that kind of character, he's just like, hey, buddy, I've been there. You don't want to fucking go there. Maybe.
Yeah, and that could also be really cool. But like, no, this movie's shaping up great. I'm very excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll probably see it and talk about it when it comes out.
Thankfully, it's not too far away because it's only like a couple months away. It's
Yeah,
May, so it's just March and April. Just got to get through those 2 months.
it's Moon Knight and then that. And hey, speaking of Moon Knight, we got a new Moon Knight TV spot because the Super Bowl was on today. So
You mean the quote unquote big game?
Sure.
No, Super Bowl's trademark. You're not allowed to say it if you're making things.
Fucking sue me, NFL. What are you gonna take?
Yeah, no, Moon Knight. It looks good. It's just a little bit more new footage. Nothing super super big.
mhm. We could also just like say they released a still of Mr. Knight the other day.
Oh yes.
And that suit looks tasty.
Mr. Knight always looks tasty.
Mhm.
But we do have the crescent cape. It looks amazing. Nailed it. It looks straight out of the comics.
We also see like him properly using a Moonerang.
Yep.
It's great. This show looks so much more like a movie than any of the Marvel shows have so far.
Yeah, but that's kind of what you have to do with Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so... Oh, yeah. Moon Knight looks amazing. It looks wonderful.
For a limited series, this looks like just here is everything you could possibly want from a Moon Knight adaptation in one go.
And as a Moon Knight fan, like, I am living for it. Because fuck yeah, Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Because, like...
Let's go White Batman.
Yeah. He's not that white. But, like, genuinely, it's wonderful. It hopefully it isn't just the mind-bending Moon Knight stuff, because I would love to see the kind of down, rough and tumble Moon Knight stuff a little bit too. I understand that they're kind of focusing on the DID and the mysticism and the magic and that surrounds Moon Knight.
Yeah.
But like, I am so excited for people to see this, mainly because, yeah, that's what people know Moon Knight as. He's just Marvel's white Batman, and he's
And also memes.
in the memes, but like he's more than that, and it's a really interesting character. And like, for all the things we can say of like Moon Knight as a C-list Marvel character that no one cares about, he is he is a strangely integral part of Marvel Comics. He is always having a knit run. He always is around. He's always in the background of stuff. He's always hanging out. Like, Moon Knight's just there, bud.
Yep. He's just there with the best of them.
Yeah. Moon Knight's fucking solid. Moon Knight's great. Fucking watch Moon Knight. Yeah. They just need to start paying. That's a big problem with adaptations. Artists rarely get their dues.
Mm-hmm. That guy did sound like just more excited that his thing is real now than anything in his tweet, though.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't sound upset, but, like, I do agree he should have gotten paid.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that, like, Mr. Knight has been kind of superseded. No, it's just other people have used Mr. Knight, so it's like, oh.
It's the same thing that happens with any comic book thing. It gets introduced, it means something, it's very real, and then it goes on and it gets turned into other things as it goes.
Yeah. But also, just someone did a still of a screenshot of the Crescent Cape. It looks so good.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
It's gonna make a hell of a hot toy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, Moon Knight looks phenomenal, looks amazing. Cannot wait for it. Though, right after that is also fucking Obi-Wan.
Mhm.
Jiminy Nut fucking Christmas. We got a lot of things to watch.
I cannot describe how hype I am for Obi-Wan. Like that feels like a show I've waited my whole life
Have we
for.
gotten a trailer for Obi-Wan yet?
No, we just got that poster and date announcement the other day. That's all we've gotten so far.
Oh yeah, between Moon Knight and Strange, because we're entering the magic age of Marvel. Like it's Moon Knight, we got fucking Black Knight, we have Blade coming out soon, we have Doctor Strange happening.
Wanda's realized her full potential.
Wanda's the Scarlet Witch. We are full on magic. We are going to get fucking weird. Because remember, we're also getting the Fantastic Four. Negative Zone. Micro Zone.
Oh my god, dude, if we get a fucking Micronauts movie.
I mean, Marvel still owns the original characters. They don't own any of the characters from the Micronauts line.
It sure is, Buster. It sure is. I appreciate that.
But, hey, you want to talk some comics?
That is a thing we do on this show, isn't it?
Yeah. It's almost like half the show.
Mm-hmm.
So
Who's
I read Amazing Spider-Man number 88 BEY.
Oh, I looked for that and I couldn't find it on our website when I was reading books.
Yeah. It got posted later that day. Which is the return of the Slingers. Blah!
Okay, so I probably would have felt pretty lost reading this.
They try to keep you updated. Basically, Hobby, a man formerly known as the Prowler, is using the it's not a wasp.
Yeah, Buster, during the Beyond era, .BEY is like a numbering they do specifically for like side stories that are setting up things that will come into the main story later.
Yeah, or like things they just want to have. So shit, I can't remember what the purple guy's name is. It's
He is the purple guy.
He's not wasp. It's a bug. It's a flying bug.
Beetle?
No. It's similar to like a stinging bug. I don't know.
That's the name.
Well, Prowler is the character. He used to be the Prowler. He made a new suit, which is this character, which is what also Spider-Man used during his whole trying to prove Spider-Man didn't murder someone. Okay?
Okay.
And so the story sets up is he's created Kickstarter in his universe. He created a crowdfunding program. And after the King in Black series, after King in Black happened, he was out there helping people, doing all the superhero stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
And he noticed that there was a lot of collateral damage, but not just collateral damage, that people were hurt and injured and put in dangerous situations. And he realized that it is really hard for them to get back on their feet. And he pointed out this one girl who during like this big magic event got hit by a crystal that's slowly crystallizing her body. And it's going to slowly kill her. And she was trying to crowdfund in order to renovate her home to make it more comfortable while she slowly waits to die. That's literally the way to describe what happens. And the Prowler guy, Hobby, basically goes, it's fucked that there's no aspect of superheroism where we can actually help these people. So he wants to restructure his website to be a personal one-on-one damage control for people. Not for buildings, but for people. You know, a pretty cool idea. That's pretty nice. Only problem is his company was sold out from under him by the board and the stockholders and all that kind of stuff because he's only an acting president kind of thing, CEO thing. So now he no longer owns it. It's owned by the Beyond Corporation, who really wanted his servers and user data.
Fucking hell, Maxine.
Yep. But here's the thing. He got a payout. And it was like, oh, everybody got a payout. Wait a second. This is worth more than the company was worth. The company was valued at about $71 million. This is $300 million worth of a buyout. What the fuck do they see in this information? Why are they doing this?
Yeah, that is on.
Okay. So he is about to suit up and go do a thing when Dusk pops in. The woman in Buster Core, you're evil. How dare you? The woman in black who's on the cover basically comes up to Hobby and goes like, yo, motherfucker, why are you wearing my old friend's dead costume? Why are you wearing my dead friend's costume? You fuckhead. Fuck you. And he goes like, whoa. I invented this suit. I understand that you kind of have like weird feelings about this, but like, are we okay? And she's like, yeah, no, I understand. It's just, I'm worried and I was trying to get my friends back. And you were just floating around and just kind of made me uncomfortable. I'm trying to get people to come help save my other friend. He's been gone for a week, saying he was going to do a job, and then he never came back. So Hobby was like, all right, cool. I'll help you out. Let me suit up. We'll go over. And she goes like, yeah. It's Beyond. And it's like, oh shit, sweet. We can do a lot of things here. So they go in and the friend's Ricochet, and he's basically was like, I've only been gone a day. What do you mean I've been gone a week? And one of the scientists goes like, yeah, no, it's a temporal thing. It happens. And it's just like, the fuck, bro? You know?
That's some shit.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the rest of what kind of happened in the issue. So I'm pulling it up real quick.
Okay.
Thanks for poor memory. But yeah, no, it was cool seeing all the slingers back and just... They're good designs. They're good superhero designs. It's good to see them. It's also good to, like that they're not ignoring the comic that happened in the 90s, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he breaks into Beyond first to like steal information, and then Dusk comes in and goes like, "Hey, yo, what's up, bro? You're a thief. I saw you at Beyond. You're even wearing my best friend's costume." Hornet. His name is Hornet. He goes by Hornet.
Okay.
That's the suit's name.
And that's Uncle Aaron, right? That's what you said?
Yeah, he's the Prowler. He's Hobby.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
All right. I wasn't questioning it. I was just trying to make sure I had all my facts straight.
Yeah. So they're trying to save Ricochet, do all that kind of stuff, break into the Beyond facility. They're fighting giant tardigrades. They save the day. They do all the thing. And that's how it ends. That's basically like they save the day, they do all the stuff, and the scientist guy goes like, "Yo, you had the brains and the physicality, top shelf member of my team, Mr. Hornet. I'm officially offering you a job at Beyond." So like, oh, he has an official in. He can get in there and get all the information he needs, all that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So that's fun. Hey. The first few ones were just me. No one left to fight. Number 2. No one left to fight to issue 5. This is basically Dragon Ball fanfiction.
Yeah. What happened on Dragon Ball Z this week?
Basically, the Goku character and the Vegeta character start having the fight because Goku character is about to die and he wants to die fighting. So Vegeta character is just like going like, you know what, fuck you for all the years you've made me feel inferior, fuck you for all this bullshit, blah blah blah. And the Goku character goes like, bud, I understand that you have these feelings, but like maybe you shouldn't focus on what you want, focus on what you have. And like all this kind of stuff. And they do the big old and then the Bulma character comes in and goes like, "Hey, Vegeta character, is he dead?" And he goes like, yeah, he's dead. As he just looks on and like, what am I gonna do with my life now? Kind of like, I don't have a goal to strive for, kind of thing. You might like No One Left to Fight, Buster. It's very bright and colorful comic. So, yeah, no. It's very Dragon Ball Z fan fiction. Hey. Moon Knight. Moon Knight number 8. Yeah, number 8. This is actually a Devil's Reign tie-in. Because Mark Spector, Moon Knight is... Yeah, very, very colorful. Moon Knight is in jail because of the whole Devil's Reign thing. So Dr. Knight takes up the mantle and basically goes like, yo, Moon Knight kind of fucked my shit up and made me realize that maybe my strict adherence to all the Khonshu stuff kind of wasn't the greatest thing in the world. So while he's in jail, I'm kind of gonna do what he does just to kind of keep up the neighborhood. So I'm gonna be Mr. Knight for right now. So a dude comes in and goes like, hey, so there's a serial killer-y kind of stuff happening. The strange thing is, it happened a while ago with this woman, but she's been dead for 3 years, and these things have started escalating. She originally only killed criminals, but now she's killing indiscriminately. Just anybody who writes this little symbol on a wall and like asks for them to kill someone. Can you investigate it? And the dude goes like, all right, cool, yeah, no, I can do that. So he goes, investigates, and he discovers a young god. Like magic young god, because people were praying to this idea and it made a god. It's the whole power of belief creates deity thing.
Alright.
So he's going like, oh, hey, yo, you're a young deity thing. That sucks. And he goes like, because I have to introduce you to my father. And he summons Khonshu.
Oh.
Like, he literally goes like, meet my father. And Khonshu appears and goes, my son. Like, do you think of Mark Spector and Khonshu talking to each other? It is venom. They hate each other. Fuck you, I hate you. Why are you even my disciple? Fuck you, I hate you. Kind of bullshit. With this, it's literally like father and son. There's a very formal, cordial, like, appreciation of each other. It's hilarious.
It's Luke and Vader.
Yeah.
What it sounds like.
Yeah. And basically, Khonshu fights this young god, not necessarily to kill it, because he can't kill a creature of belief like that, because people continually believe. But basically, it's to kind of like knock it down a peg so it stops hurting people right now. So yeah, it's just a little one and done story with the other hand of Khonshu.
Sick.
Yeah, pick up Moon Knight. It's been really, really good, Buster. The next book I read was Secret X-Men.
Better.
You know how the X-Men were all voted on?
Yeah.
These are all the second place people that didn't get on the team.
It's a little cheap, but okay.
Oh, no. It's good. Okay. So here's the basic premise. Sunspot is up in space. He's hanging out with his boy, Cannonball.
Thank you for sticking up for me, Buster.
When we get to a VAC book, which I think is the next one. So,
is that Boom Boom?
Yeah, Boom Boom's on this team.
Sick.
Armor, Banshee, Big Guy, Forge, Tempo, Boom Boom, Sunspot, Cannonball, and Marrow. Those are all the people on the team.
Did he change his name from Strong Guy, or is that a different character?
No, it is Strong Guy.
Okay.
Brain was being dumb.
Okay.
It's Strong Guy.
That's sick. I've liked what little we've gotten of Boom Boom in the post-Hickman era.
But basically, he's up in space, and then Alondra and the Bird of War from the Shi'ar Empire basically come going like, yo, you've been saying you're the leader of the X-Men. We need the X-Men. And Sunspot goes like, all right, I'll get him. And then we realize that the night of the X-Men vote at the Hellfire Gala, when they all realized they weren't voted on by the people, they were bitter about it at first, and then they all had drinks, and then in a drunken stupor all agreed that, yo, we don't need those fucking X-Men. We're a fucking team, man. We'll be a great X-Men team. And then the morning after, Sunspot emailed all of them and goes like, yo, I know we were drunk, but that X-Men idea, though, I just want to have like a group chat so we can do this one day. Legitimately, that's the origin of this team. Was them just being drunk.
So this team has the same origin as Modular Media.
To an extent. So basically, the Bird of War is saying, like, Alondra's gonna be fucking targeted, and we need you for protection and all that kind of stuff. And then, right after he forms his team...
Buster.
Right after he forms a team, and they're in space, the Shi'ar Empire basically goes like, hey, the Bird of War kidnapped Alondra, we need you to go after them and save her. And they all go like, oh shit, we're being played. Things are not going the way we thought. We need to be superheroes on this. And it's like, okay, cool. So they're formulating a plan. They're going to go save Alondra, who is is the daughter of Professor Xavier.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that shit.
Yep.
I thought you were just pronouncing Lilandra weird.
Yeah, no, it's
that's a different character.
Yeah. So,
Fucking hate Empire.
So. They're up in space. They're going to go save. They do adventure stuff. Marrow makes a fucking spacesuit out of bones. It looks sick. Okay. And then they get to Alondra, Professor X's daughter, and her two psychic advisors, her precog advisors. And they go like, all right, cool. We're here to help you out. Do all this kind of stuff. And it turns out the whole plan to make this superhero team wasn't their own. Though apple doesn't far fall from the tree, Alondra made a secret X-Men team in order to have it on, like, in case she needs it. And this was sort of a test. And she wipes their memory, sending them back to Krakoa, thinking that they have successfully completed the mission. And forgetting most everything else.
No, it's Hellions.
It's what?
So it's like a new take on Hellions.
Not necessarily, because they're not bad guys. It's just more of like they're recruited and then they forget they did anything. The way it's phrased is they are secret X-Men, even to themselves. Like,
who's writing this again?
Howard. Teeny Howard?
Yeah, that's some Teeny Howard ass shit.
But it's nice to see all these characters on a team. It's nice to see them interplay. The writing on that's pretty good. Hey! Tell me about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, bud. Tell me about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers,
well, these
bud.
aren't the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This is Power Rangers. And
No, it's Mighty Morphin.
This is Mighty Morphin. This is just Mighty Morphin. There's
Mighty
no
Morphin
Power
number
Rangers
16.
here. This is just Mighty Morphin. And this issue is
Is
essentially
that
just
bulk on the side?
what the fuck? I don't know who the fuck that's supposed to
And
be.
the
Bulk
lightning
is
bolt.
not. I can see it. I don't know who the fuck that is supposed to be. I had not noticed that. It's got to be like a weird Tommy likeness or something, because Bulk is not in this issue whatsoever.
That's Tommy
Oh,
after eating a bunch of bees.
that's Tommy after Rita's Pita. That's the unfortunate ending to that episode we never saw.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is just more third act of the Eltarian War happening, and it's like either you're like I've said it about 3 or 4 times with this book now. Either you're into this or you're not into it. I'm okay with it. I can get the vibe, but it's not exactly what I'd want. Like there's some interesting stuff here. Like we see a flashback to the first time pre being Zed and Zordon meets, like these them and the other Eltarian character, the first time they all meet each other. We get to see that scene at the start of this book, and then like a majority of this is just the three of them fighting in the caves of Deception, I think it is. While also Draken shows up to basically do a big old swerve because you think he's gonna help out the Imperials, and then he tries to fuck up the Imperials, and then his shit's not as effective as he thinks that he is, and then the emissary just one shots the Imperial. Okay. Um, and also at the end of this issue, Zed is left standing tall over the other two guys defeated, with the opportunity to get a hold of the Zeo crystal, and we don't know how that's going to go, which is somewhat interesting. I also do like the slight lore dump we get in this issue via the narration during the denouement of the Caves of Deception fight, where we get a retelling of an old Eltarian tale that's like supposedly the origin for the Zeo crystal, which is kind of cool, kind of very flavory. It has a certain fantasy feel to the way it's told, which I dig. Um, but yeah, there's things to like about this book. There's things to dislike about it.
I mean, Buster has
I
some very strong opinions.
Yeah, but like Bus. I mean, It doesn't surprise me at all, Buster. We have gone back and forth on these comics enough to know how each other are going to feel about things.
Uh,
It's a comic book story with a Power Rangers skin on.
yeah. You think they're gonna do Zeo?
Probably. I feel like that's where Matt Groom's run is heading.
Here's a question though: will they do Turbo?
They'll probably like if they get that far, they probably do like an acknowledgement of Turbo just to get to In Space.
Hey, guess what we both read?
What do we both read?
Hawkeye.
This issue was pretty good.
Yeah.
There was some fun stuff in here.
Yeah.
I love the text conversation at the start of this issue. That's been like a very consistently good thing, is the texting aesthetic, and just like fleshing out the circus from the Matt Fraction run and like making them into proper villains is really fun. And then getting to see Kate do some proper hero shit finally. That was cool.
Yeah. Saving her sister was fun. I do enjoy the line at the end of like, I think I trust you as much as you trust me. And Kate just looking at her and goes like, well, good then. It's kind of like, yeah, you may be an evil sister, but I trust you.
Yeah. I also like the moment just before that of like the 2-page spread with the jaggedy panels. That's a really good way to do a montage I've not seen before.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. And it's continuing. It's not a mini, I don't think. I think it's an ongoing.
I think no, because it was solicited. At least the first couple issues were. I forget what it was. It was one and two of Suffing. So I think this is a case of like, oh, this has been successful enough. We can just call this an ongoing now.
Like Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, solid. It's good. Can't wait to see more.
We shall see how this turns out.
Hey, tell us about Last Flight Out.
Uh, this is a pretty solid issue. Like, it's been a while since I've talked about this book, but it's the same opinion I have every issue. Is like this is very obviously a script for a movie, but it makes for a pretty solid comic, so I don't mind. And like there's just some good character dynamics going on here, and a very solid, very succinct, well done plot in a really smartly handled sci-fi setting. And like we're getting very close to the end of it now, but there's a massive, big old plotty plot twist at the end of this issue that throws a huge wrench into things for our main character, and it completely changes where you think the story of this series is going to go. So I'll be interested to see how the next issue plays out.
It's like the dad convinced that the daughter wants to stay, kind of thing.
No, the military people abandoned the dad, the daughter, and the best friend, and the general guy writes up a report that says they died in action.
Mm.
So they're left stranded on the outskirts of Chicago with 12 hours to go before the ships take off.
Mm.
So we shall see.
Yeah. X Deaths of Wolverine issue 2.
What happened in this? Boingo.
So Moira is in a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
She makes a bath of iodine and water. She takes a lighter to a knife and has a ironing thing right next to her. And she cuts off the warlock arm. Because that's how they're tracking her.
Oh.
So now, yeah, she just cuts off her arm.
Clever girl.
Yep. And she traps Mystique in a thing and kills her. She can be resurrected, though.
Yeah, obviously.
Meanwhile, Forge is examining the fucking pod that the weird techno Wolverine came out of and goes like, Yo, Gene, Professor Xavier, you know how you can kind of like carbon date ground by like doing like a little dig and you examine the materials and you can kind of see how old it is? Well, you can do that with plants too. This thing is 1,000 years older than Krakoa.
Okay.
So that's concerning. And meanwhile, we're following the Techno Wolverine, who is just the Terminator. He's just the Terminator. He's ignoring everything, just going.
He's that evil Wolverine clone from Logan.
Yeah, he's just trying to kill Moira or save Moira. He's just trying to get to Moira somehow, some way. But we do get some confirmation that he's a little bit phalanx. So it all depends on how this is going forward. But yeah, no, is good.
Okay.
Hey, tell me about the Catman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Catman, Woman, Man.
What the fuck?
Tell me about the Catman, Batwoman.
Just like you.
Tell me about the Tom King wank fanfiction. I'm kidding.
You're really kidding hard tonight. You know that.
That's what happens when I'm punchy. That's what happens when I'm punchy. I have been tired all day.
Well, so have I. I haven't slept since Friday night.
Here's the thing. I had a full 8 hours of sleep. I just feel like a fucking wound up sprung.
Wow. Well, anyway, this issue is basically Catwoman fighting characters and monologuing about how she views herself at 3 different points in her life. 2 of the fights are with the Joker. There's a fight when very early on in their relationship, and there's in them knowing each other. And there's a fight very much towards the end of both of them being costumed characters. And then the final fight is with Helena. It's in the present where Helena is trying to arrest her at the Iceberg Lounge, and obviously she's not having it, and she's very much convinced, I'm your mother. I taught you everything I know about how to fight. I can still kick your ass. And it's an interesting fight. It's a lot of like just Tom King laying bare sort of the themes of the series and his view of Catwoman and saying like, uh, "Hey, motherfuckers, I understand Catwoman is a strong female character. The way I wrote her in the series was for in the main Batman book was for a reason, and here's what it is." And it's clever, interesting stuff. It's also like something that like I feel is going to connect together a lot better once we have this full piece and we're able to sit down and read it all in one go.
Fair enough.
Also Clay Mann's back, and his art actually looks better than it did before he left. So yay!
That's good. Hey,
Hey.
New Mutants, issue 14.
Oh, okay. Tell me about that. Yeah.
This is just complete 100% wrap up of everything New Mutants has kind of been doing.
Okay.
Of like putting a button on all of it. So, Cosmere, the purple mutant who has reality warping powers, is slowly getting the help she needs in order to not look like a big weird alien.
Good for her.
She's starting to shape herself to look more comfortable for herself. Okay.
Yeah.
No Girl gets a body.
Yay!
She has a body now.
Good for her.
She did modify it a little bit to her own liking, so there's no hair. And you can see her brain in the case, because we still want people to remember, yeah, this is No Girl. She's the brain case character. But she's no longer No Girl. She is called Cerebellum.
Okay.
Or Cerebella. Her name's Cerebella. Farouk, aka the guy who was possessed by the Shadow King, who has been helped by the New Mutants and not necessarily forgiven, but like given the opportunity to redeem himself, is going through
Standing around and going, damn.
God damn it, fuck off. Is basically going is figuring out how to redeem himself, how to right the wrongs that he had committed throughout those years. And after the appropriate amount of like therapy and help and that kind of stuff, the way he wants to do it is to go help Legion up on Mars.
Okay.
With their new like temple thing. And as he's about to leave to Mars, Danny Moonstar, Rain, Wolfsbane, Karma, and Karma's girlfriend all come to basically see him off. And he goes, look, I don't deserve your forgiveness. All I deserve is the opportunity to try and earn it. And they basically go like, yeah, we don't necessarily forgive you. We understand that you were also abused in that situation and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't negate the trauma that we have been through, but to that extent, we want you to be a better person. Okay. So it's very much of like, we're done with this character. We are done with Shadow King. We have no reason to revisit it. Meanwhile, Magic is going like, yo, so get this. I really like teaching magic at Doctor Strange's school. And a lot of this is because a lot of the problems we've been having is because of miscommunication and just not understanding each other. And you know what? I really like teaching magic. I'm going to teach mutant magic.
All right.
As John Proudstar, as Thunderbird is in his basically apartment, he's hanging out. There is a knock at the door, and Proudstar comes in and goes like, "Hey, kid bro, I'm surprised your face wasn't the first one I saw when I came back, because he's back now. And his kid brother's is just going there. I had to make sure everything was clean and was good. And he goes like, don't bullshit me. That's not why you weren't there. Why weren't you there? And he just goes like, because I couldn't face you. Because I couldn't face... With everything I've done wrong, I couldn't face you. And he just and Proudstar just like grabs his brother, hugs him, and goes like, "It's okay, your older brother's here." And they just like embrace and just let it out. And it's just like, yeah, yeah. It's so good. I love it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's still some lingering things that are going on, like, where is Wolfsbane's kid? We don't know. Like, they're wrapping up this story arc of, like, these kids and...
Is it going to be the same writer going forward?
I think it's the same writer still.
Okay.
This is just, like, the epilogue to all those story things, threads that they've been doing lately.
Okay.
It's a season finale, not a series finale kind of thing. But yeah. New Mutants. Good.
Nice.
Hey.
Hey.
Tell me about Love Everlasting.
Love Everlasting is Tom King's Substack book.
Oh.
It came out on Sunday, actually.
Mm.
And it's really interesting because it definitely has that Tom King feel, but it's a very different kind of story that I'm used to from Tom King. Because it's essentially a takeoff of classic romance comics, where it's like, it's the Patsy Walker kind of thing, where it's these very it's all these kind of like different, very flowery, epic melodrama stories, but it's always the same main character, and it's a radically different setting. It's a bunch of short stories. But he's doing like a Grant Morrison-y thing with it, because halfway through the second story, the main character goes like, wait, this isn't my life, what the fuck? And in the third story, she's like, this really isn't my life, what the fuck? And then in the fourth story, she's like, I'm not even gonna fucking try with this. I'm gonna try and find a way out. Bye. And she rides and rides and rides on a horse through the desert until a guy that looks like a fucking Lone Ranger, vigilante, Star Wars bounty hunter man knocks her out, and then she wakes up around a campfire with him, and he goes, "You shouldn't have run, girl. This world is harsh and wide, and running don't get you anywhere. Miss Joan Peterson, she would like you to know love is everlasting." And he just shoots her, and she wakes up in a new premise, and she's like, God damn it.
Westworld?
Entirely possible. I believe this is going to be a 12-issue mini, so it's obviously like this is a very Black Mirror-esque setup. Like, this feels like an episode of Black Mirror to me, but like there's going to be more of it. So we're going to see this delved into and find out what is going on here and get it resolved. And I wouldn't say I'm like totally hooked, but I'm interested. I will read the second issue.
Fair enough. Hey, Devil's Reign. Do you have anything more to say?
No, I'm good. How's Devil's Reign?
Devil's Reign, issue 4 of 6. This is just kind of a little bit more of a general bunch of stuff. The fantastic, all the heroes are trying to escape the prison. They do pretty okay. They do solid. Meanwhile, the member of the Thunderbolts, the Rhino, is fighting the champions. Oh no, what's happening here? Turns out Rhino doesn't want to fucking fight them. He just took this because it was a good paying job, and he doesn't want to be a bad guy. Like, he's not evil. He's just like, it was just like, look, they said they could pay me, and they said I could do some good. I didn't think I'd be fighting kids. So I'm just gonna give you some information so you can get the fuck out of here, okay? And he's like, okay. They do. Because he also gives them, like, Thunderbolt badges so they can hide from like all the drones, so they can sneak and do hero stuff. And it's like it's Miss Marvel, it's Miles, it's Viv, it's Ironheart. Meanwhile, Kingpin is trying to gather up Purple Man's kids to do all the stuff, so they can do the powers and everything, and get more power. And everybody's heading out, and Kingpin's new wife, which is Typhoid Mary, remember this, goes like, yo, honey, you should let me go do this. And he goes like, I know you can do this, but it's just more of like, I don't want you to get in the possibility of being hurt. And she's like, that's sweet. I know it's because I was hurt before, and that's how we kind of met, but like, I was so fucked up back then, I don't even remember it. And it's a shame I can't remember our first meeting, even if it was sad and tragic. And Kingpin, while holding the Purple Man power cane thing that he has that uses the Purple Man power, goes like, I want you to, I wish you could remember too. And her eyes light up and goes, I remember. You compelled me to remember. I can remember our first meeting now. That's great. Like, it's sad, but like, I'm glad I can remember our first meeting now. And Kingpin goes like, yeah, that's great. Wait a second. As he walks onto the roof, cane in hand, and he goes, remember, to himself. As he looks up in vitriolic anger, Matt Murdock.
Oh, fucking shit.
He remembers who Daredevil is now, bud. Things are gonna get fucked.
Yeah.
And I think the last book of the night is issue 8 of Superman, the Son of Kal-El.
Yeah, so obviously this is basically part 2 of the story we began last week with the giant crustacean being forced ashore at Metropolis, and Bendix using it as an opportunity to sort of test pilot his post-human superhero team. And it's all going horribly awry, and John has to work crazy hard to do a bunch of cool Superman shit and save this monster, while also not entirely defeating these heroes. Arthur Curry shows up to help out Jackson with relocating the Beast. It's all fairly resolved, although there is some slight flooding in Metropolis that like does a little bit of damage to Superman's public perception, is how they kind of word it. But it's also like because of him, it was way better than it could have potentially been. And then we get a big, basically Apple-style press conference of Henry Bendix addressing the world and being like, yo, the governments of the world have not been in control of anything for the last however many years it's been since superheroes showed up because of superheroes. So I check out these human drones I made called post-humans. They're superheroes that we can literally remote control. That's not a gross violation of human rights at all. Anyway, who wants to buy some from me? And that's where we're at.
Jeffrey Bezos.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
my God! The incredibly liberal comic book writer is writing an incredibly liberal comic book. How about that?
Yeah. But hey, pretty good week for comics.
Yeah, it's a solid week. Nothing that was like an absolute banger, but a lot of like really good books.
Yeah. And there's a lot of good bangery moments. Like that one panel I've been sharing of just like, just give Chip Zdarsky the Fantastic Four, please.
Mm-hmm. I feel you there.
Because look, just one panel, 3 balloons, and he nails the fucking characters.
Mm-hmm. Chip is good people.
Because Reed is in his own ass, and then he can get pulled out of his ass real quick by Sue.
Mm-hmm.
And they love
I'm
each
like, as
other.
much as I want that, we also have to remember the man has publicly said he doesn't want to write an ongoing ever again.
Fair enough, but he's fucking doing Daredevil again.
Yeah, it's almost like public personalities say things and then change their mind later on a lot. It's
Yeah.
like that's a thing they do. Anyway.
I just want him to write Fantastic Four. That's all I want. That's all I need.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, good week for comics. Good week for comic shows. Good week for comic trailers. Good week in general.
Yeah.
So hey, do you want to tell people about your shit because we're wrapping up?
Hey everybody, I'm the Vacuuminator. I'm a YouTuber who talks about tokusatsu and action figures. I'm very passionate about those things. I've got a new video that actually kind of fits into both things in development right now. It'll probably be out sometime in the next couple of weeks. So if you want to see that, go ahead and subscribe to me at youtube.com/thevacuuminator. And in the meantime, follow me on Twitter where I tweet and twat about every little thing that falls into my head all day long at the Vacuuminator. And on Instagram where I post photos of action figures and my dogs at _Vacuuminator.
Hells bells. Hey, howdy. I'm Chris, a Boingo Writer Gaston. I make a variety of content. You want to see some live streams? It's twitch.tv/Boingo Writer on Twitch, on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. It's Boingo_Writer. I post things if I do. The whatnots and the who's-its. Yeah. If you want to follow me on YouTube, just type in Boingo Writer. You know how YouTube works. So yeah, that's kind of it for comics and everything. So this has been No Price Podcast, part of Modular Media, all that jazz. You want to help support us, you can follow us and like us and do all the stuff on the YouTube. Or follow us on podcasting platform of your choosing. We also have other podcasts, including Components, which is just kind of a variety show, kind of a podcast, just whatever feels comfy for the week. We also have a Modular Media Wrestling podcast where we talk about pro wrestling every week, and we have Twit. You want to tell the people about Twit?
This Week in Tokusatsu is a show where Buster and I talk about all the latest news and releases from the world of live-action Japanese special effects.
Hells bells. But, in the end, that's kind of it for this show. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Not really. I don't have a non sequitur prepared this week. I just have, I'm a little old self and my messed up background that I gotta do some work on. It's gotta be a thing that happens soon.
Enough said.